In this pandemic time, why should you bother to give consistently to the work of God and to the poor when your resources are dwindling and there is so much uncertainty? Good morning, everyone. This is our reflection question for today. An Indian legend tells about a farmer carrying a sack of grain on his shoulders and meeting the good Lord. "Give me some wheat," said the Lord. So the farmer reached into the bag and found one of the tiniest grains he could and gave it to the good Lord. God turned the grain of wheat into gold and gave it back to the farmer. Then the farmer was sorry that he had not given the whole bag to the Lord. What influences our giving of ourselves to the work of God and to the poor? Our vlog of June 25 and June 2 did takes on the Sermon on the Mount. Today, we shall touch on the Sermon on the Mount. In the former, Jesus teaches us about the Beatitudes, a very powerful exhortation of how we can attain heaven by loving our neighbor, even our enemies. Jesus also spoke about stewardship. We need to give to the church and community not only to maintain them for their administration and to the poor, but because it is our way of thanking God for blessing us constantly. Perhaps you will argue that you are not rich because this pandemic has in fact depleted your resources and, for some, robbed them of their source of livelihood. We do not know when this pandemic will end. We may not be able to sustain our daily needs and wants if this pandemic is prolonged. The Lord will understand, we say, if we do not give our contributions to the church or to the poor, or we should just reduce it drastically. We argue that we should just let the rich do it because they have much more than we have. Billy Graham, a noted evangelist, says, "You are rich if you had a meal today. God has given us two hands, one to receive with and the other to give with. We are not cisterns made for hoarding. We are channels made for giving." Jesus continues in Matthew 16 verses 19 to 21. "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." God does not only promise us a place in His heavenly kingdom, He also will see to it that in this earth, whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. Jesus adds that God is able to make every grace abundant for you, so that in all things, always having all you need, you may have an abundance for every good work.
Hi, I'm Joanne Sarah. I'm the eldest in the family with 6 younger siblings. We were orphaned at a very young age. Our mother died when I was 15, and my dad passed away when I was 19 years old. There were many questions at that time. How could orphan children ages 19, 17, 16, 14, 13, 11, and 6 years old will face the future? How will we finish school? How will we survive? It was difficult to understand God's plans. I became an instant breadwinner when I started working. Financial challenges became part of our daily lives for many years. I would always be worried during the tuition fee season. Many times I would fear for our meals for days ahead until the next salary day. There were times I would eat for lunch the leftover sandwiches from company meetings. I always cried to the Lord, "When will this all end? I have given everything. How much more do I need to give, Lord?" One day in my prayer time, the Lord told me, "Give your full tithe so you can grow in trusting me." I obeyed God in faith, and the first time I gave my full tithe, I cried tears because I just gave away an equivalent 1 month school allowance of a sibling. And the Lord would remind me, "Don't think of 1 month job, think only of 1 day." Over the years, giving the full tithe was a joyful struggle. It was not easy, but I felt peace and joy. The Lord would sometimes provide in awesome ways. There was a time someone transferred a significant amount of money to my bank account, learning later that God led that person to do it. One time, a sister came and handed me an envelope with cash inside. She said God told her to do it. There was also a time when a sister sponsored my haircut. And yes, God told her to do it for me. Those were moments of grace. God allowing me to experience miracles of provision, even for things like a haircut that I do not need. Giving my full tithe did not solve our financial struggles, but it allowed me to increase my trust in God, journeying with Him one day at a time, and trusting that His faithfulness will see us through. Every storm has an end. All of my siblings eventually graduated from college. We have now 4 engineers in the family, 1 accountant, 1 teacher, and an IT professional. God was able to make every grace abundant for my family. He provided for our needs. Eventually, I got married. My husband RJ started a real estate brokerage business. At that time, we only needed 1 sale a month to survive. But one faithful day, God gave us 33 property sales in 1 day. I call it, with just one touch of God's favor, our lives completely changed. And it did not stop there. The 33 sales became 300 sales within 6 months, and our property sales continued to skyrocket, growing exponentially for several years. Our financial problems could have been solved with one touch of God's favor then, but God chose to train our hearts first, and God patiently waited until my husband RJ and I were ready to receive the bountiful blessings in His perfect time. Indeed, the Lord is true to His promise that whoever sows bountifully will also reap bountifully. God can never be outdone in generosity.
Whether or not this pandemic will end soon, the Lord assures us that He will provide. Jesus cautions us, though, in Matthew 6 verses 2 to 4, we should not give like the hypocrites, sounding the trumpet to be praised by others, for they have already received their reward. We should do it quietly, and God will reward us for our generosity and humility. Indeed, if we take the opportunity to bless others, the Lord will bless us with opportunities for our taking. Let us pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, teach me to be generous, unmindful of the cost, but only desiring that my reward will be your heavenly kingdom. This I pray in Jesus' holy and mighty name. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. God bless your families, brothers and sisters. God bless our Catholic faith and couples for Christ.